The Empire's military wasn't just stormtroopers and star destroyers, it was a strict chain of command that decided who gave the orders and who followed them. From fresh recruits in white armor to high colonels, fleet admirals, grand generals, and even the shadowy directors pulling strings behind the scenes, every rank had its place in the Emperor's war machine. Today we're breaking down the entire Imperial hierarchy, who held the power, how they got there, and the real Star Wars stories behind these positions. You'll meet the high colonels you never noticed on screen, the Death Troopers who guarded the Empire's most dangerous secrets, the Moffs who could overrule generals, and we'll even explain where Darth Vader fits into the picture. By the end you'll know exactly how the Empire was structured, and why certain names in this chain of command were far more dangerous than you might think. First we have the entry level, which is the backbone of the Empire. We have Stormtroopers, which are the most recognizable rank. By the Endor timeline, most were no longer clones. On Ferrix, we see standard Stormtroopers acting as a police presence and intimidation force. They were trained for loyalty and obedience, not independent thinking. Then we have the specialized Imperial troopers, the Purge Troopers, which were elite soldiers working with the Inquisitors to hunt Jedi. They're seen in Jedi Fallen Order. They wield electrostaffs and blasters designed to counter lightsabers. The Death Troopers are first seen in Rogue One, attached to Director Krennic. In The Mandalorian, Moff Gideon also had his own Death Trooper squad. Their encrypted communications kept their orders secret. And then we have the Stormtrooper captains and sergeants. Like Captain Dobson from Rebels, these officials led Stormtrooper squads in direct action. Their colored pauldrons identified their role in command. And then we have the Imperial officers, the actual brains of the Empire. Stormtroopers might have been the muscle, but officers were the real decision makers. Imperial officers were divided into Navy and Army branches. Many came from prestigious academies and political connections often mattered more than skill. The Navy officer ranks are Midshipmen, which are the naval trainees, still in training, not often named in canon but appear in background on ships like the Chimera in Rebels. Second we have the Ensign or the junior officers, which are often responsible for one section of a ship, like weapons or navigation. Third, we have the Lieutenant Commander or the Commander. They were senior officers who ran multiple ship departments or small vessels. Commander Praji in A New Hope led the boarding party onto Tentative 4. Fifth, we have the rank of Captain. They commanded individual ships, from corvettes to massive star destroyers. Captain Firmus Piet commanded the Executor's bridge crew before becoming an admiral. And the highest rank for a Navy officer could be a Commodore or a Navy Commander. They oversaw several ships as part of a task force. Commander Kai from Rebels commanded multiple vessels in a sector fleet. Then we have the Army officer ranks. Majors, for example Major Partagas in Andor is the leader of the ISB Sector 5. He shows the authority majors had when tied to Imperial intelligence. Majors controlled battalions or regiments. Then we have colonels. Colonel Yul Laren in Andor and A New Hope served as a senior ISB leader before transferring to the Death Star. They oversaw larger formations, sometimes whole legions. And lastly, the High Colonel was a rare, almost ceremonial rank between colonel and general, often tied to political loyalty. Legends notes officers like High Colonel Abakarda, who commanded planetary garrisons with special authority. After the officers, we have generals, admirals, and sector commanders. For the Army High Command, we have the brigadier generals, who led large multi-regiment forces. In Legends, General Veers technically operated at this level during the Hoth Assault. Next, we have the Major General, who oversaw entire planetary operations. Then we have the actual generals, who ran sector-wide campaigns. Again, a good example for this would be General Maximilian Veers. And the highest rank for the Army High Command was the High General, or Military Governor. These combined political and military command. Governor Price in Rebels functioned in this capacity for Lothal. And for the Navy High Command, we have the Vice Admirals. Vice Admiral Terrenald Screed from both Legends and the Clone Wars transitioned into an Imperial strategist role. Then Admiral Piet in The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi commanded Darth Vader's Death Squadron. After Admiral, we have the Fleet Admirals. For example, Fleet Admiral Gallius Rex in the Aftermath novels controlled large segments of the Imperial Navy post-Andor. And lastly, we have the High Admiral. Very rare in canon, but in Legends, High Admiral Teradoc ran multiple fleets during the Imperial Civil War. But at the top, the Emperor kept his most trusted and most feared commanders. These are the elite, the grand titles, the Grand Admirals. They were only 12 at a time. These officers had almost total autonomy in their sectors. Grand Admiral Thrawn was legendary for his brilliant strategies, and also for being one of the few non-humans to reach such a high position. And as for the army, the Grand General was the highest possible rank, controlling all ground forces in a region. It is the Legends rank. Grand General Malcolm Brashen oversaw the entire Imperial army in his sector. But the Empire also blurred the line between military and political rule, and these are the political command, the Moffs, and the Governor. A Moff ran a sector of space, combining civilian governance with military authority. And we also have the rank of Grand Moff. Grand Moff Tarkin was the first to hold the title, controlling multiple sectors and commanding the Death Star. His authority rivaled Vader's. But some figures didn't really fit neatly into this rank chart. So that's why we also have the Special Authority, the Directors, and Sith. The most notable director was Orson Krennic. In Rogue One, he was the Director of Advanced Weapons Research, a title tied to special projects, not to the standard military ladder. And then of course we have Darth Vader, officially outside the chain of command, but as the Emperor's enforcer, he could override almost anyone. He and Tarkin served as the Emperor's right and left hands, Vader using fear and force, Tarkin using political precision. Now, the Empire wasn't just a faceless swarm of stormtroopers. It was a carefully built machine, with every rank designed to keep the Emperor in control. From the lowliest recruit on Ferrix to Grand Admirals commanding entire fleets, every step up the ladder meant more power and more danger. Some served out of loyalty, others for ambition, and a few simply because they were born into the right family. But in the end, it didn't matter. The only rank that truly mattered was Emperor. Thank you very much for watching, and make sure to write in the comments below what are your thoughts on the Imperial ranking system. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and see you soon.